Last month, one of my patients, a 72-year-old retired teacher, walked into my clinic terrified because she kept waking up dizzy, lightheaded, and feeling like her tongue was too heavy for her mouth. She thought it was just aging, but when I showed her a study from Kyoto University, revealing that a weak tongue increases stroke risk by narrowing blood flow to the brain, she froze. What changed everything was a simple 10-second tongue technique used in Japanese rehabilitation clinics to warm up the arteries. Feeding the brain, seniors who practiced it daily improved blood flow to the carotid arteries by up to 32% in just 2 weeks. And the best part, you can do it anywhere, even while sitting on the edge of your bed. Would you try it if it meant protecting your brain? Let's get into it. Most people have no idea the tongue affects stroke risk, but after 60, it becomes one of the most important muscles for brain health. It's small, but it controls far more than speech and swallowing. It's connected to deep muscles in the neck that help regulate pressure in the arteries, carrying blood to the brain. When those muscles weaken with age, blood flow slows down, and stroke risk quietly increases. This connection first surprised researchers in Japan. Neurologists at Kyoto University discovered that seniors with weaker tongues had measurably lower blood flow through the carotid arteries. These are the main vessels delivering oxygen to your brain. When they scanned the same seniors during simple tongue movements, blood flow improved instantly, sometimes by over 30%. Another study from the University of Toronto confirmed the pattern. Adults over 60 with reduced tongue mobility were more likely to experience dizziness, morning fogginess, and poor balance, all early signs of decreased blood circulation to the brain. But the uplifting part is that the tongue responds quickly to activation. It's one of the easiest muscles in the body to strengthen, and you don't need special equipment or long workouts to do it. When the tongue presses upward or forward with controlled tension, it activates the hypoglossal nerve and the muscles under the chin, known as the suprahyoids. Together, they work like a mini pump that helps push blood upward. Neurologists call this a microcirculation boost, and it's especially powerful for seniors because these muscles tend to go dormant with age until they're specifically awakened. That's why this 10-second tongue trick is so effective. It reactivates the very muscles that support clear thinking, balance, and steady blood flow. And the best part, anyone can do it, anytime. Let's go step by step through the technique. Here's the part that surprises almost everyone. The 10-second technique isn't complicated, it isn't uncomfortable, and it doesn't require anything except your tongue and your breath. In fact, most seniors say it feels strangely relaxing the very first time they try it. This technique comes from a combination of speech therapy, airway training, and stroke prevention practices used in Japanese rehabilitation clinics. And the moment you activate the right muscle chain, blood flow to the brain increases almost immediately. To start, sit upright or stand tall. You don't need perfect posture, just a straight spine, so the arteries in your neck aren't compressed. Take a slow breath in through your nose. This helps expand the upper airway and prepares the muscles under your chin to engage. Now comes the trick itself. Press the entire surface of your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth. Not just the tip, the entire tongue, from front to back, should make contact with the palate. Imagine you're gently suctioning your tongue upward. You don't need to clench or strain. The pressure should feel firm but comfortable, almost like the tongue is lifting your head from the inside. Hold this upward press for a full 10 seconds while breathing slowly through your nose. As you hold the position, you'll feel subtle muscle engagement under your chin, along the sides of your neck, and sometimes even behind your ears. That's exactly what you want. Those are the muscles that help regulate blood flow to the brain. Neurologists discovered that this simple palatal press activates the hypoglossal nerve, which triggers the deep muscles of the upper throat to tighten and lift. When these muscles contract in harmony, They increase the stability of the carotid artery walls and encourage a steady rise in blood flow. It's a small movement, but for the vascular system, it's like flipping on a circulation switch. After 10 seconds, release your tongue and relax your jaw. Most people feel a slight warm sensation or a lightness behind the forehead. That's the microcirculation boost kicking in. Repeat this 2 or 3 times throughout the day, especially in the morning when blood flow tends to be lowest and the benefits begin to accumulate quickly. This is one of the simplest protective habits a senior can add to their routine, and the effects are surprisingly immediate. What makes this 10-second tongue activation so remarkable is how quickly it influences the very system responsible for stroke prevention, blood flow to the brain. Most seniors think stroke risk is only about blood pressure or cholesterol, but neurologists have discovered another piece of the puzzle: how efficiently blood moves through the neck and into the brain. When you press your tongue firmly against the roof of your mouth, something extraordinary happens inside your neck. The hypoglossal nerve fires, the suprahyoid muscles tighten, and the entire floor of the mouth lifts. This chain reaction gently changes the pressure dynamics in the upper airway and around the carotid arteries. These are the 2 large vessels that deliver almost 80% of the brain's blood supply. In a series of ultrasound studies from Kyoto University and the University of Toronto, researchers watched this in real time. The moment seniors performed the upward tongue press, blood flow through the carotids increased. The vessel walls became more stable, circulation smoothed out, and oxygen delivery to the brain improved. The change wasn't subtle. Some participants showed improvements of 20 to 32% within seconds. Here's why this matters after 60. As we age, the muscles around the throat and neck slowly weaken. This can cause what doctors call microcompression on the arteries, especially when swallowing, talking, or moving the head. When those arteries narrow even slightly, blood flow becomes turbulent instead of smooth. Turbulent flow is one of the earliest warning signs linked to higher stroke risk because it strains the vessel walls. The tongue trick solves that in an instant. By lifting the tongue and activating the supporting muscles, you open space in the upper throat and relieve pressure around the carotids. The arteries widen just enough to allow steadier flow. Neurologists describe this as improving cerebral perfusion, which simply means the brain gets a healthier, more reliable supply of oxygen and nutrients. Better blood flow doesn't just reduce stroke risk. It supports clearer thinking, sharper memory, steadier balance, and improved morning alertness. Many seniors report feeling lighter in the head, less foggy, and more stable on their feet after just a few days of practice. The beauty of this technique is that it works with your body's own mechanics. No pills, no equipment, and no complicated exercises. Just a gentle activation of muscles most people rarely use intentionally. Now, let's look at when and how often to do this tongue trick to get the strongest benefits. The beauty of this 10-second tongue trick is that timing it correctly can make a massive difference in how much benefit you get. Because this technique improves blood flow on demand, doing it during key moments of the day gives your brain the support it needs exactly when it needs it most. The first and most important time to use this technique is right after waking up. Morning is when blood flow to the brain tends to be the lowest, especially in adults over 60. Overnight, the muscles in the neck and throat relax, blood pressure dips, and many seniors wake up feeling foggy or slightly unsteady. Performing the tongue press as soon as you sit up helps jumpstart circulation and stabilizes blood flow before you even start your day. The second ideal time is before standing up from a chair, particularly after sitting for long periods. When you've been still for a while, blood can pool in the lower body, and the sudden shift in pressure when you rise can momentarily reduce blood flow to the brain. Doing the tongue trick for 10 seconds while still seated helps activate the neck muscles and smooth the transition, making you feel more balanced and steady on your feet. The third recommended time is before activities that require coordination, like walking outside, climbing stairs, cooking, or even reading. Anything that asks your brain to stay focused benefits from a quick circulation boost. In terms of frequency, most neurologists studying this technique suggest 2 to 4 sessions per day. Each session takes just 10 seconds, and they stack throughout the day to keep circulation strong. Some seniors even do it before bedtime to calm the nervous system and reduce nighttime dizziness. It's simple, it's fast, and the more consistently you use it, the more noticeable the benefits become. Even though the 10-second tongue trick is simple, most seniors unknowingly make a few small mistakes that limit the benefits. The good news is that each one is easy to fix once you know what to look for. The most common mistake is pressing only the tip of the tongue instead of the entire surface. When just the front of the tongue pushes upward, you miss the deeper muscles under the chin that help regulate blood flow. For the technique to work, the middle and back of the tongue need to rise as well. Think of it as lifting the whole tongue like a gentle suction cup, not poking upward with the tip. The second mistake is holding the breath during the press. Some people tense up without realizing it, but breathing through the nose is what helps circulate oxygen and keeps the carotids relaxed. When you hold your breath, the muscles stiffen and the benefit drops sharply. A slow nasal breath keeps everything open and stable. Another common issue is pushing too hard. The goal isn't to strain or force the movement. Pressing too aggressively can tighten the jaw or neck, which can actually restrict blood flow rather than enhance it. The pressure should feel firm but comfortable, like activating the tongue rather than fighting with it. A fourth mistake is poor posture. Slumping forward or tilting the head down puts pressure on the arteries in the neck. A simple upright position, standing or seated, is enough to keep the pathway open so the technique can work properly. The final mistake is inconsistency. Because the trick feels easy, many seniors forget to practice it regularly. But just like walking or stretching, the benefits build over time. Doing it only once a week won't create the same improvements as a few intentional sessions each day. Once these small habits are corrected, the technique becomes incredibly effective. Most seniors notice improvements in clarity, steadiness, and circulation much faster once they start doing the movement correctly. What surprises most seniors about this 10-second tongue trick isn't just how simple it is, but how quickly the body responds when the right muscles finally wake up. The first time you try it, you might feel a lightness behind your forehead, a gentle warmth traveling up the neck, or a sense of clarity settling in. These are all signs that blood flow to the brain is improving in real time. It's a reminder that even after 60, your body is still incredibly capable of change when given the right signal. Researchers have been saying for years that stroke prevention isn't only about medication or big lifestyle overhauls. It's also about the tiny daily habits that support better circulation, stronger muscles, and calmer nervous system responses. This simple technique taps into all three at once. It restores mobility to a muscle most people never think about, strengthens the deep tissues that protect your arteries, and encourages steadier blood flow during moments when the brain needs it most. What's even more encouraging is that the benefits build on themselves. The more often you practice this, the more your tongue, throat, and neck muscles adapt. They become more responsive, more coordinated, and more supportive of healthy circulation. Many seniors report that over time, they feel steadier standing up, clearer after waking, and more confident during daily activities that once felt slightly off balance. And this is just one tool. Imagine what happens when you combine it with other simple protective habits: hydration, gentle movement, breathing techniques, or the foods proven to support healthy arteries. Your brain loves consistency, and every small action works together to keep it sharp, energized, and protected. Now, I'm curious about your experience. Have you ever noticed fogginess in the morning or lightheadedness when getting up too fast? And after learning this technique, when do you plan to try it for the first time? Share your thoughts below. Your story might be the exact encouragement another senior needs today.